Alrighty, so we'll get right into the Daytona 500 here. We had Logano and McDowell start on pole from Wednesday, and they locked themselves onto the front row. Our first major incident of the race was on lap 5. We saw Keselowski give kind of a poor push there to Harrison Burton, turned him down the track in a Hocevar, collecting Austin Dillon, Kaz Grala as well. Jimmy Johnson, I believe, was also involved in that, lost some laps. And that kind of changed the complexion of this race. And it was for a good way, I guess. After this caution, everybody goes into a little bit of strategy. We had a few guys stay out, like Blaney, I believe Bell. There's another one at the time as well that stayed out. But it turned into kind of a fuel-saving race for about 20 laps there. Everybody was just running super slow in a two-line, kind of a pace lap for 20 laps there.
Hey everybody, this is Thomas from the Dega Boys channel, reminding you to hit the like button if you're enjoying what you're watching. If you want to see more great content like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon as well to be notified of any future videos coming out. Thanks for watching, now back to the video.
But then the vibe kind of changed because we had green flag pit stops. And then that's when the race kind of changed in the portion where we saw Toyotas and Fords pit, we saw Chevys pit, different times. The Chevys all cycled to the front of the field. And what really bugs me is stage racing in modern day NASCAR, particularly in this Daytona 500. We had an amazing race shaping up stage wise or with strategy wise in this race. We saw the Chevys really capitalize and execute on pit lane, take control of this race. The Fords, Toyotas were behind them and really didn't execute on pit lane as good as the Chevys, really. The storyline of this race, without a stage caution, a stupid stage caution, damn stage caution, ruined this race, in my opinion. We would have had the storyline as, can the Fords and Toyotas master the strategy to get back to contend with the Chevys? Can the Chevys continue to execute and run this strategy out and be able to stay out in front of this field as far as they were in front of the field? Unfortunately, we have to have a manufactured stage caution break, whatever BS that was, ruin the strategy portion of this race. And then it was pretty much straightforward from there. Back to fuel saving in stage 2, side by side, double side racing. Just not a lot of action going on there. Unfortunate. I mean, what are your thoughts on the whole strategy racing getting ruined by a stage break? It seems like this is NASCAR now. Well, you have to live with it. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch a lot of the beginning of the race. I was still at work and dealing with uh, some of the Big Daddy stuff over there. But regardless, we've seen stages just absolutely kill NASCAR in the past couple of years. I think as like a true race fan, I think we can all appreciate strategy races. We can appreciate, you know, uh, gambling on strategy. I think we can also appreciate a good comeback story too. But I don't really know where that line is with stage cautions. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand. Like I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt to NASCAR and their decision to continue with stage cautions. It's I'm trying to make sense, like make it make sense. Um, because damn, Jay, was it some good racing or what?
Yeah, it
Like,
was. It was amazing.
yeah, a manufactured caution. It's not stage cautions. It is a straight up manufactured. Trying to create drama, and I'm all for drama, but it's like that. Here we go. It's like that one lady when we were doing the Daytona duels, and it was the introduction of Kevin Harvick
Mm-hmm.
to the broadcast booth, trying way too hard. And I feel like it's the same thing that applies.
Yeah, I agree.
I can go on forever.
Yeah,
Honestly, I can.
I
It's
agree.
just
I
it's
agree.
just terrible.
Yeah, and we've said it in the past, like stage racing in modern day NASCAR. I mean, stage points are a necessity, and it is a good thing that they have that to reward people points throughout the race. We do not need a caution. That's just a fact. And we saw last year with the road course races how great those races played out without stage cautions, and they didn't learn anything from it. So, all right, now we get into stage two. Or stage one winner was Chase Elliott. Stage two winner Ryan Blaney. And again, same kind of thing in stage two. The racing at the beginning of the stage was a lot of fuel saving, and then we ended up getting into strategy again. We saw lots of different strategy being played. We saw Fords, Toyotas, and Chevys. Teammates weren't able to pit with each other because the way that they were lined up through this fuel saving, drafting, whatever you call that, racing. And then it played out like it was going to be some craziness again. And then another manufacturer stage caution. So then we get into stage three, and we get the big one on lap 9. Everybody's raming Bowman and Byron for this wreck. But I don't think you can blame anybody. That's just a product that we're at now. I mean, if Bowman was to lift there and not hit Byron, he's the one that's getting wrecked because he's got the push from behind. And then, I mean, you can't blame anybody there. That's just what it is, right?
But that's a product of pack racing.
Yeah.
And that's what the fans supposedly want. Bring back tandem racing, tandem drafting. That's what I'm about, baby.
Yeah, and I think the drivers would love it too. I mean, honestly, I don't think any of the drivers appreciated driving at half throttle all the way around the track for 100-something laps. I mean, side by side, gridlocked. I mean, that's not fun. That's not fun for them. Like, that's not fun for the fan. And then the fans, the problem is the fans see it and they're like, oh, they're side by side. Oh, yeah. And it's like, yeah, but they're not doing anything. We want to see runs develop. We want to see in the third lane. We want to see good cars be able to make their way to the front. We want to see cars through strategy have to do rebounds and stuff to get back to the front. We want to see people trying to maintain track position. That's what we want to see. At least I want to see that.
NASCAR is just giving the opportunity for fans to take a drink of their beer after they go ape shit while the cars go by after they're done screaming. So then they could take a drink of their beer and then here they come back around again and they could do it all over again. 200 laps.
You're not wrong. Oh, man. So, yeah, that caution changed the complexion of this race because we saw all of your heavy hitters get taken out. I mean, Kyle Busch, Keselowski, Logano. I mean, really all your best race cars were taken out there. Set it up to one of these little, I think it was like a 3 or 4 lap shootout to the end. And caution with 1 to go. Chastain, Cindric end up wrecking there, going for the win. And then we had Byron and Bowman drag race to the finish, cautions out. And then they declare Byron the winner with no context or visual or anything to do with it. Then they just give Byron the win. I guess my biggest takeaway here is the photo that NASCAR released after the fact is so subjective. It's so subjective. I don't know, Tom, if you saw the photo from the other side. They have another video footage from Fox's broadcast from the alternate perspective of the one that NASCAR posted, and that one shows Bowman ahead. You go to the onboard video of Bowman's car, and he is ahead when the caution light comes on. In the NASCAR rulebook, NASCAR even made a video, and it says when the lights are illuminated, that's when the winner is decided. 1 photo out of 100 shows Byron subjectively ahead of Bowman. I guess I'm just devastated. I'm just heartbroken. I mean, the last 2 years for Alex Bowman have just been awful, whether it's been injuries, concussions, back injuries, sidelined, points penalties from car problems or whatever Big Daddy NASCAR decides. It's just been tough. Finally has a chance to win something, and it just feels like it got taken away. And I'm not. It's not even just the fact that it was Bowman. I've been heartbroken the last couple of years with a lot of series. I mean, go back to the Go for 50 last year when Hudson O'Neal beats Bobby Pierce to the line, and they give the win to Bobby Pierce. Go back to last year's Indy 500. We do a 1-lap shootout to the finish. Why are we doing a 1-lap shootout to decide an Indy 500? It's so lame. I'm gutted still to this day for Marcus Ericsson over that. That was just absolute crap, and I hate that. And then we get the Rolex 24 this year, and not that the outcome would have changed, but look, let's finish the dang event. We are getting 2 laps to go, and then it's over, and I feel like I got left in the dark, and I want Tom to say this because I know Tom does not agree with my take here, and I respect his take, and I understand where he's coming from. But my thought is, if we do have a caution on a wreck on the last lap, we do need to bring the safety vehicles out. It is a concern, but why can't we just put a alternate start finish line somewhere on the backstretch? Why can't we have them race to a certain line to decide the race? Why are we going off of video footage and trying to sync up a button to lights to a video footage to figure out who wins the race? Let's just get rid of that. Let's put an alternative start finish line on the back. So if they wreck in 3 and 4, we race back to the backstretch. That gives them plenty of time to slow down for safety vehicles to come on the track. If we wreck on the backstretch, let's let them race the front stretch. It still gives them the opportunity to slow down, get safety vehicles out to the backstretch. And then Tom, I mean, if you want to expand on this, you brought up an amazing point. In that incident there was no reason that anybody should have thought that Chastain or Cindric was in danger. And I 100% agree with that. I mean, you want to expand on that?
Well, I'd like to clarify a little bit because I was seeing red because I saw the Daytona 23 hours once again, and it just absolutely floored me. But this is what I will say. Let's go back. I think it was the 2020 Daytona 500 with Ryan Newman. Let's go back to that, right? So let's just say they were taking the white flag. Ryan Newman had his horrible accident. That is absolute reason to stop the race. Okay. Instantly, when we saw Ryan Newman hit the wall and go up on his side, we're done. We need to make sure that Ryan Newman is okay. Right. And luckily for us, I mean, as a race fan, we did get to see the finish of that race, which turned out to be an amazing finish. But I mean, we need to make sure in situations like that the drivers are okay. I do still believe, though, that how we finished the Daytona 500 yesterday was not the best way to go about that. Now, not in a single doubt in my mind when that wreck was happening, I was like, I said to myself, holy cow, we need to make sure that these drivers are okay. Not once. And that might be a little cruel of me to say that. But, I mean, and maybe I didn't see the whole thing or whatever. I'm just saying it looks kind of fishy from my side, given the Indy 500, given the Daytona 23, 58, 36, given the Bobby Pierce incident. And, you know, there's a lot to say there. Now, how I really want to explain this all, though, and just bear with me a little bit, okay? Because I was talking about this with a couple coworkers today, and I was like, NASCAR. So just bear with me for a second. Okay. Think you save up all this money, right? You've been planning to buy a new truck for about 5 years. You finally have the cash. You go to a Toyota dealership. You go and pick out your favorite vehicle in the world. It's a Toyota Tacoma. Comes with a nice big V6. Well, not big V6, but the V6 that comes in it now. And you just think the world of this truck. It's great. Awesome. You don't even test drive it. You just throw the cash in their face. You get in the truck. You go for a drive. And it's your favorite truck. But then you kind of figure out, man, this truck's kind of gutless. What the heck is happening here? It's kind of sluggish. It sucks. The power in this is terrible. What do you mean I can't even tow my boat with it? That's terrible. It's a truck, you know? And then you look down at your dash and it's like, why the hell am I getting 12 miles a gallon? Right? And you're like, what the hell is going on here? What did I just purchase? This thing is terrible. So where I'm getting to this is Toyota, a Toyota V6. You get the power of an inline 4 and the fuel mileage of a V8. All right? That's how I feel like with NASCAR right now. You get this brand new truck. You're like, hell yeah, man, I worked hard for this. This is awesome. And then you're like, shit, it only has a power of inline four. And then you're like, what the hell's going on? I only get the gas mileage of a V8? And then you're left with this truck that you don't even like anymore. I feel like I've invested a lot of time into this sport of NASCAR to not only get robbed of a 24-hour race, to get robbed of a 500-mile race, to get robbed of adding more horsepower to, or not adding more horsepower to a car, but looking into other continents to go race there. The 40th anniversary of Hendrick Motorsports, and somehow we get this deal with the 24 car winning. Fishy or not, look at it on a bull or on a plain face. Okay, just by itself, just look at it because it's worth considering. And then on top of this, manufactured racing, stage cautions. There's no more strategy to this racing. There's no more. I feel like there's no more driver input. I feel like it's all based on what NASCAR wants to happen, and it's all based around the Toyota V6. And that's what I really thought about all day. I'm not gonna lie.
I like your comparison. Yeah, I'm gutted. I was talking, so next to sim race, that's Steven in the chat. He says, or use actual timing transponders in the car. That's a good point too, but then again, you have to go for 50 issue. That's how they screwed up Hudson O'Neal out of that win at the go for 50 when Hudson O'Neal definitely beat him to the line. My thing is I am ready for IndyCar. I'm ready for Formula One. I've invested pretty much my entire life into NASCAR, and I am getting just tired of it. Like, it's like senioritis. That's what I have right now. I've put all this time, I've worked my tail off, my butt off, invested all this time into it, man. And it's just like, I've been pumping it and promoting it on this channel and like talking so good about it. I mean, yes, we say bad things about it, but that's expected. But we mostly talk good about the sport. We talk good about what we got. The drivers are amazing. And it's like, we've worked so hard to get to this point, and it is what it is now. And it's just, accept it. It's just where we're at in this sport, where we're at in this league. And then you got teams begging for more money and NASCAR shutting the door on them. It's just like, we're headed for a split in NASCAR. I hate to tell everybody that, but it's going to happen.
Don't forget the charters.
Yeah, and the charters, that's another thing. Yeah. It's everything. It's everything anymore. And not that IndyCar is going to be any better, not that Formula One's going to be any better, but what was our big thing all offseason, Tom? We are in the golden age of motorsports. Like, if you look at what they're doing at IMSA and WEC right now, with the amount of manufacturer involvement, investment in team interest, and then you look at the other spectrum with Formula One not wanting to add new teams, and then IndyCar doesn't know what they want to do. They've been trying to go international. We'll talk about that more here in a little bit. But, I mean, IndyCar's in this rough spot right now. We don't know where they're going to go. Like, they've got all this opportunity to go somewhere. And then NASCAR just, again, with making just all these decisions. I don't know. I feel like we could go on and on about this. But, yeah, Tom's acknowledge is perfect.
Can I also add one more thing here? So, what happened the last lap of the Xfinity race?
Yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right.
Can we get some consistency? Can we, at least through all the BS Big Daddy Toyota V6 crap, can we at least get some consistency?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, is it that hard?
Well, that's what I was going to say when we did the Xfinity recap with the Sheldon Creed thing, with how he lifted at the end of that race. I'm glad you bring that up now. Might as well talk about it now. They've conditioned these drivers so much that they lift at the end of a race. I mean, you've got these guys conditioned in their brains that, like, there's a wreck, it's over, we just stop. Like, it's so bad.
Well, you bring up a great point, because it looked like Creed just gave up.
That's what it looked like. But I don't think
Yes,
that's what it was.
I don't think so either. I think you're right. I think that is just a product of what NASCAR has drilled and instilled into the drivers' brains. And maybe I'm just making a far out excuse for Sheldon Creed because the MFR hasn't won a damn race yet. But it doesn't matter. I agree with that. I think that NASCAR has taken it too far, to the point where we're instilling into the drivers that, oh, there's a wreck on the track on the last lap. Shit, back it down, save the car. And
Yeah.
I am just so freaking disappointed. I felt like I waited. I talked this whole year up about how awesome it's going to be across all series, and we go out the Daytona 23 hours, and then we go out the Daytona 497.5, and it's just.
Yeah, I'm with you, and that's why I want to talk about. I guess the last thing we should say though is William Byron did win the Daytona 500, and nothing against William Byron. The cards were dealt the way they were. William Byron is an exceptional talent. I've been comparing him to the next Jeff Gordon. I love William Byron. I'm huge supporter of William Byron. I have nothing against William Byron. It wasn't his fault this situation happened, and he is a well-deserving Daytona 500 champion. Say what you will. This guy is a deserving Daytona 500 champion, and congratulations to him. I know it might have looked bad in the moment, but that was our instant natural reaction. I even posted that video today just because I wanted that to be on the record book of our natural reaction. But that gives us an opportunity here on Tuesday to come back with congratulations, William Byron. Right? And you do you agree with me with that sentiment? Like William Byron's a deserving champion.
Look, we're about to see. We're about to see a dynasty out of that 24 car. I really do think so. And we've even said it last year, even when we were playing our fantasies. I said it every week. If you want a consistent points getter for your fantasy, you choose the 24 car every week. Every week, you can count on that 24 car scoring a lot of points. Every week. It doesn't matter where you go. The 24 car is going to score a lot of points. And he was almost week in and week out the top scorer based on stage points and finish. That was just the start. I think this year is the year of William Byron. I honestly thought last year was the year of William Byron, and they just missed it a little last year in Phoenix. I think if he had just had a little bit more, I think absolutely William Byron would have been the champion. And quite frankly, kind of deserved to be the champion. Just Ryan Blaney played it out a little bit better than the 2014. But I think you got to lose one to win one.
Yep.
And this year is William Byron's year.
Yep. 24.
I really
24.
do.
Yep.
And let's call it. What are we saying? William Byron champion?
I picked him in the offseason to win the championship. That was the first person I picked. I said last year before Phoenix race, like Tom just said, you have to lose one before you can win one. You have to. Yep. You have to. Yep. It's just the way it goes. You have to learn from your mistakes. And even Jimmy Johnson, he lost like 3 of them before he ended up winning 5 in a row. I mean, I think Byron's going to learn from all his mistakes that last year. He's going to win it this year. I mean, I think we both picked William Byron in the offseason championship. So yeah, I think it's definitely William Byron's year. So congratulations again, William Byron. I mean, I'm so happy for Hendrick. I'm happy for William Byron. Happy for Jeff Gordon. I'm just gutted as a racing fan and as someone who pulls for the underdogs, especially Alex Bowman, who's like the ultimate underdog at the best team in NASCAR. So that's just the way I feel. But we'll get into some news next. Let's get on a